Hi, everyone, and welcome back. It is officially day 5 of the 5-day Business Reset Challenge. I'm Jennifer Britton, your host. Join us as we continue this journey to reset, refocus, and reignite your business. I'm recording this at the end of Q1 2026, but my hope is that this is actually a regular, evergreen funnel for people to engage with. Because really, we can benefit from a reset like we've done this week regularly throughout the year. So, my guess is you've watched the other videos. There's this week been on-demand videos like this, as well as now today we'll have video live call number 5. So if you haven't watched those as well, it will be, I think, quite insightful because we're hearing from lots of other business owners, hearing their experience, what's sparked them, what's helping them really think about their scaling and their flow. And today we're all about, sustaining some of the momentum that you perhaps have been gathering over the course of following this, whether it's been a week, whether it's been longer than that. My hope is that you're benefiting from what is really core components of the Flow Flex scale model. So we started off on Monday in day 1, which was all about creating some flow. It was about resetting your lens, looking at where you are right now, taking a look at your vision, your mission, what is important to you, your why. And as we moved into Tuesday, we then looked at clarifying your offer. Not your offer 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago, but your offer right now. I've continuously heard this week how important those AI prompts are. And if you haven't done them, here's an invite to go back and look for the AI prompts that are in each of these 5 days. We've heard in the live calls, and I'd love again to invite you to listen into those live calls because you'll hear from other business owners how important it is to have a different thinking partner, especially as we are mostly solopreneurs. Day 3 was all about activating conversations. And we went through 7 different types of conversations that you might activate with your clients. Again, this is about relationships. We also then looked at creating visibility yesterday, a really key topic. And today is about building the revenue rhythm. Now, we've covered a lot of landscape this week, so just know that I am, in fact, going to record one more video around integration. I've got something exciting for you in that 6th video as we lead up to wrapping up this entire piece. And again, if you've been enjoying it, I hope that you actually will consider joining us at or for a 90-day journey. Throughout the year, starting the first day of every quarter or a few days earlier than that, depending on weekends, we kick off the 90-day lab at Flow Flex Scale. As you've seen, really getting some traction is multifold. It's about having the right tools. It's about having the inspiration. It's about having some mentoring from someone who has done this, who has built a multi-million-dollar business over 22 years. I haven't just rested on my laurels. In fact, I continue to innovate and really be looking at what are the tools. So we as a business are quite heavily influenced and embedded with AI, not just only for us, but I look at the clients that I work to support. Many of them are tech and learning organizations that are well beyond what we will ever do here in my small business. But it does mean that I need to follow the trends. And if you're looking for resources, accountability, community, and weekly calls where you can get coaching, where you can be finding time to work on your business, I really hope that you'll check out the Flow Flex Scale Lab. Again, for those challenge members who are going through this live at the end of Q1 2026, I want to extend to you a 50% discount. You've done the work this week. I know how you're noticing the traction is happening. Until end of day Monday, March 23rd, 2026, you can scan this QR code and you'll get 50% off the regular current rate of $1,997. So just $997 for 3 months, 12 weeks of support. Anyways, more on that later. I want to dive into today because today is really about how can I afford that? Well, today is all about revenue rhythm. It really is about thinking about where do you get rhythm to get sales and get money in the door. And so as we get started, I want you to be thinking about what's the metaphor you want to create around rhythm. We spend a lot of time in Flow Flex Scale looking at this notion of rhythm. So I'd love for you to just take 45 seconds right now, look at these notes, look at these words, look at the graphics, and I want you to think about what is the rhythm you want as a business owner. Take 45 seconds, write it down. You never know what's going to emerge as you put pen to paper. What's the metaphor you want to create around rhythm? What I've loved about having live calls this week is we brought in some creative exercises. I know 45 seconds may not be enough, so feel free to keep going. Personally, I picked the microphone, and maybe that's not too surprising. I think if my sister were here, she'd say, "Of course, Jen, you picked the microphone." I have a very vivid memory. I was a singer. I am a singer. And I have a very vivid memory of being about 10 years old and being at a recital that was in one of our Toronto shopping malls. You can tell I'm dating myself. But I think what that was, being so immersed in music as a pianist, as a violinist, then and also as a vocal person. It really, music is the backdrop to my life. When I drive now, even in my mid 50s, if I'm driving around with my son, inevitably he'll stop me and say, "Mom, why are you whistling?" I love music and I really love driving, I think, because I always have the radio on. So, what is the metaphor you want to create around rhythm? Our businesses do have rhythm. And so I want you to be thinking a little bit differently now on your revenue rhythm. What is important for you around your revenue rhythm? Maybe that metaphor you just selected, whether it was someone dancing, maybe doing the samba, or thinking about groove or patterns or dance or movement or beat. How can you be bringing that into revenue rhythm? So I want to give you about a minute and a half now to think about what's your metaphor around revenue rhythm, because revenue is the lifeblood of any business. What is great about being a solopreneur or small business owner is we can actually, it can turn on, it can turn off. So there's a bit of, interesting energy there. But I think if we can get into a rhythm of things, that consistency is perhaps not guaranteed because nothing is ever guaranteed in work, but there may be a flow that you're noticing when all the stars align. You certainly will probably also notice seasonality. So let me invite you right now. What's your metaphor that you want to embrace around your revenue rhythm? This exercise might activate a lot of things. It might actually activate your inner critic thinking, well, how could I do that? How could I make revenue fun? I think there's a lot of mindset issues around revenue. I say that as someone who really, when I stepped into this business 22 years ago, I was coming out of work where I was working around issues of sustainability, absolute poverty, with communities that really, in those days, were subsisting sometimes on $1 to $3 a day. If you can imagine stepping into coaching all those years ago and being told, the average rate of a coach in those days was over $100 an hour. I was gobsmacked. And many of you note how transparent I am with pricing. That's because for years it really was work. It really required work to get comfortable, not only with the worth that I bring, but also the fact that as I earn money, it allows me to share that or have greater impact with communities, with resources, even with family members who might not be as lucky. So revenue is key. I have been the primary bread earner of our family. I have really had to work very hard at instances, and it really never ends. And in doing that, I have learned that there is a rhythm, and some of it is really mindset oriented. So for today, the words that came up for me, and I just want to share these because they're maybe not as hard as the words that you see on the screen. Flow, conversations, energy, flow again, and I drew a river as well. Handshake, consistency, relationships, and groups. And I do want to thank all of you for joining us this week, whether you've been with us live on the live calls or you've watched this on YouTube. Part of the work that I really love, and I know where there is great rhythm and great revenue flow in this business, is when I can bring groups of people together. They love it, they're activated by it, and that fills my well as well. So let's spend a little bit of time because today is an invite for you to think about what is going to build or maintain or create revenue rhythm. I don't have any nuggets of gold here because really each one of our businesses is different. And as I said, revenue is the lifeblood. Couple of things though that I continue to see based on the many people that I've coached over the years. Consistency has the opportunity to create momentum. Now, consistency is a really interesting word. Does that mean I just need to show up an hour a day? Does that mean I need to show up an hour a week? Does that mean I just need to show up? Well, you're going to notice. You're going to notice from who your clients are, what they require, what they are expecting from you. I think one of the things that I've wanted to really instill this week is that we're not in an era of business where it's just open your hands and you will receive. We want to design a weekly rhythm for visibility, as we talked about yesterday, for conversations. In my own drawing, I had the handshake for dialogue, right? Emails only do so much. And that's why over the course of the week, I've been inspired by the people who joined us early in the week to add on more calls. I know we live in an era of complexity, multiple time zones. We've had the recent change. And so some people have come to the call an hour later, writing me saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry I missed it." But I know you can then catch up on these calls on demand. As coaches, though, our work is about the live conversation, even if it is AI enabled. So, what is going to build a revenue rhythm for you? How do you take what your clients want and need right now, where the resourcing is, and really look to put that together? And so again, I've brought some AI prompts for you to, experiment with. Again, this is just a thinking partnership. You hopefully, as we've been saying, even in the day three call, water test or pressure test this. I'm going to start with the one on business foundations. Act as a business systems advisor based on the following description of my business. And hopefully, you're working with an AI partner already, hopefully, a paid AI partner where your proprietary info is safe. But suggest three systems or workflows that could help me maintain consistency in marketing, client relationships, and revenue generation. What does it say? And how might you work on that? What I continue to see in the AI empowered solopreneur and coach booster days, a 4 hour program, is people leave with clarity around these areas, their marketing, their visibility, and also their workflows. These can really make a difference. You'll also want to be thinking about your business foundations in terms of fixed cost and operational costs. When times are lean, are there things that you might weed out so that you have resources to really put towards the things that you know will benefit you? One of the things that I think a lot of people often say is, but I can't afford coaching. I can't afford it. Well, can you afford the ongoing iteration without practical steps from someone who has maybe been there and done that? And that might give you an area or sort of a boost for the revenue prompt. Act as a business operations strategist based on the following description of my business, help me design a simple weekly revenue rhythm that includes consistent actions for visibility, conversations, and offers. You see how this is day number 5 now? Visibility day 4, conversations day 3, and offers day 2. I would even invite you to put in your vision, put in your why, put in the work that you did on day 1. What is a revenue rhythm for you, for the business now, 3 months from now, in the quiet time of the year, etc.? The third AI prompt is act as an executive performance coach. Help me identify mindset patterns that might disrupt consistency or follow through in my business. Suggest practical habits that support sustained momentum. Remember the some of the factoids I've been giving you this week, right? People who bought from you are 12 times more likely to purchase from you again. That's a really interesting one I've picked up along the way. And whether or not it's exact 12 times, I think what it helps me understand is the people who have really already had some exposure, either to my writing, to our product line, Conversation Sparker Charms, our dice set. Maybe they have come and joined us for an ICF CCE approved training around group and team coaching. Maybe they've been with us in the FlowFlex Scale or the Coaching Biz Growth Lab. Maybe they've been in a training program that I've offered online or virtually or in person over the last 20 years. I'm never cease to be amazed at how people show up years later sometimes and say, Jen, I met you at blank and I'm back because I really enjoyed the energy you brought or how you made me feel or the results that I got. So consistency is key, not only in the short term, but we do want to get into the long tail as well. And I would say as a seasoned business owner, it always takes longer. I also know, at least in this business, that things that might not work the first time round, we got to put it out again. Don't just throw it out. Really think about how you might do it differently in light of what is important. So go back to this mindset prompt. That also means follow through. Follow through and follow up. Follow through with the people you know, but also follow up in terms of what your plans are. I don't want to get on a sort of a high horse here, as my family would say, but like it's easy to get discouraged. And sometimes we're so close to the goal and we throw the towel in. Time and time again, we hear that in entrepreneurship. And I think it's important that we just keep going. Again, we do not want to do that without, a proof of, well, will I actually get something? And that's where we also need to surround ourselves with important advisors, mentors, coaches who have been there, who also, even from a revenue perspective, might be able to advise. What are the implications if you do choose to invest in something that doesn't have a payoff? This is a reality. So, with that, we've got some field work for you. What's important to note about your rhythm? What are some of your insights about the AI prompts? Will consistency create sustainable income? I want to ask you that, right? Sustainability means different things for each of us. So, what is important as you think about sustainability for you, your family, your loved ones? As we get into Monday, and maybe this is a thinking piece over the weekend, what is your plan for the next 90 days? We've done a lot of work this week, and my hope is that you'll consider joining us Monday to do some work around integration. I'm going to do another live call. And one of the things that I'm offering before end of day Monday is a discounted rate on the 90-day FlowFlex Scale Lab. I have always wanted to make our programming as easily accessible to the widest amount of people as possible. And that means a lot of group work. It also means that we really try to bring costs down and reward people as we can. So FlowFlex Scale 90-day lab, which will kick off on Friday, March 27th and run until June 30th, 2026. I'm giving those of you who have been here with us on the challenge a 50% discount. Wind back, go use that QR code. You can pay in one installment of $997 or 3 monthly installments of $350. There's just a little administrative charge here because I'll be invoicing you again, but I know how important it is for cash flow. Cash flow is part of the revenue rhythm. So be noticing as you go what you are seeing with revenue rhythm. We never know in business what is going to lead to, revenue. Certainly, what worked last year may not be working this year. And at the same time, you might be sitting on some really amazing things that just need a tweak. I hope that you'll join us on Monday for integration. I've got actually something even more exciting to share with all of you in terms of a business canvas to help us integrate our learning from the week. So I hope you'll come back to the bonus day 6 call that I'll be releasing on Monday or over the weekend. I will be hosting our last live call Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and that is probably March the 23rd, and that is 2026. And so I hope you'll be with us for that. We're going to do some work around integration, planning. So whether you're able to join us at the FlowFlex Scale Lab or not, I want you to leave with some very core elements in one place. And so we're going to be working with the canvas on Monday. Give yourself a pat on the back. You did a lot of work this week, just again to bring you back to where we've been, resetting your lens, clarifying the offer, looking at activating conversations. Maybe you're going to schedule those this week or weekend, creating visibility, and then thinking about what it means to sustain and to build the revenue rhythm. Part of this may be multiple coaching income sources or multiple income sources, especially in times of change. I hope that you've also been inspired by our AI prompts, and you might go and try those with even a different AI than you normally have. I'm going to leave this FlowFlex Scale discount code here. I would love to be able to work with you to help you sustain this momentum or even ramp it up even further as you move through Q2. FlowFlex Scale has grown out of years of coaching under the banner of the Coaching Biz Growth Lab, which was a 1-year program. Saw good success, but in today's world, we need to amplify that. And so FlowFlex Scale is a 90-day program. And in our first couple of cohorts, I've seen people really finding their rhythm, getting their flow. So I hope that you'll consider joining us. See you Monday. Hope that you have a great weekend. Take care.